Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Painkiller Already. We have our regular ensemble of cast, and our guest today is... Who the hell is it?
It's Junkyard.
Booyah!
In the house. Booyah!
This is Woody's gamer tag?
And FPS Kyle.
I woke up there. So, Wick, you had a first topic, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That he stole from me.
No, we're not talking about that with Kyle.
Okay.
The first topic is kill-death ratio. I recently put out a video where I talked about kill-death ratio and what it means to me and how I categorize people based off their kill-death ratio. And I got a lot of nerd rage. And I think somebody said that judging people's KDR online is like judging people's driving skills in real life. And it's a very, very good, metaphor. Because everybody thinks they can drive, be it the 16-year-old who has his permit, right up to the 40-year-old or the 80-year-old looking through the steering wheel with their big-ass glasses. None of them cannot drive. They're all Mario Andretti. And it kind of, most of the messages were like, no, I got 1.2 KD and, I own you. It's like, really?
So,
because you're having a hard time with everybody else.
That was me who said the driving thing. I said that everyone likes to think they're an above-average driver, and no one likes to hear otherwise. But I will say, KD is not the total measure of a Modern Warfare 2 player. There are guys who sit there and sprint the flags across quarry to do what it takes to win. They know it's a suicide run, but if they can get that one frag grenade in the middle of that building, then that helps them win the game, and it ruins their KD. You get guys like Hutch, who Semtex themselves when the enemy has air support up so that he can take it down. Things like that ruin your KD. But
let me ask you this, though.
Go ahead.
Because people like KD is no barometer for skill level. All right? If that's the case, if you're using that and you're hiring somebody, would you rather have the Harvard graduate or the guy with the 1.8 GPA with a high school education?
Depending on the job. But I hear what you're saying, right? I mean, this is a metric you can use to measure people. The thing is, you're not counting into consideration the game tech, right? If there's a domination guy that sits on Bravo the whole time, he's going to have a lower KD than the guy who sits in the back of Quarry on the rocks milking his own kill streak.
And see, I'm going to jump one ahead of you there.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say that if you're in a domination game and you have a good party, you should be spawn trapping. You shouldn't be sitting on Bravo.
That's what I was going to say. If here's from my experience, the people that I've played with the most, the guys that I've played with for literally dozens, if not hundreds of hours, they're all very good players. I don't know any bad players with good KDs, and I don't know any good players with bad KDs. The players I play with all have a 3 KD to a 5 KD, and when we play domination, it's usually an exercise in containing their spawn rather than capturing flag points. And when we play capture the flag, it's usually, all right, my buddy Wine and Blues is going to go capture that one flag, and that's all we need to win. So we're just going to spawn trap them over here and behind their flag the whole game. If you're playing alone, then it's a different story, but it's kind of hard to, if you're playing alone, it's hard to measure.
In a party like that, you're kind of right, that the score does get inflated, you get the spawn trap, etc. But take a game like Demolition. In Demolition, it's just naturally dangerous. The guy who plants the bombs all the time dies more because everyone knows where he is. Everyone just miracle nades it from across Scrapyard. If you want to have a high KD, sit there behind one of those, piles of cinder blocks and snipe or ACR from it, and you'll have a high KD. Anyone can do it.
That's exactly where my KD went. I obviously, you guys know me. I never had a good KD to begin with. But literally, when I started playing the objective games, as far as Demolition, and I played that religiously back in December and January. That's the only game I played. I really didn't play anything else. And we played Capture the Flag, but literally never played Team Deathmatch, never played any of those dominations or anything like that. And obviously my KD sucks, and I'm okay with it. You guys know me. I just play the game to have fun, and that's what I do.
A game like Demolition, it is easy to get a good KD in Demolition if you don't play the objective, and it is hard if you do. I can go to terminal and stand in the back and just shoot people as they run around, and it's a piece of cake. Anybody can do that.
Hey, I'm still going to go. I'm going with my gut instinct here. If you have good people around you, you're going to spawn trap people on demolition.
Yep.
Seriously, it's even easier in demolition to spawn trap than it is domination.
Yeah, that's why we played it.
And the fact is, if you're running and you're sprinting to try to get a nade on a flag, it's not because you have to do it. It's because the people around you are struggling to get kills. Same thing with team deathmatch. If you find yourself getting flanked, bet you money 80% of the time you press start or select, you're going to see a guy that's 3 and 18 or 5 and 14, somewhere like that. The guy who's not winning his gunfights and he's breaking a parameter on your defense.
So you've made a pretty good argument for the better your team, the higher your KD should be. But I haven't heard that any kind of acknowledgement that playing the objective hurts your KD.
It does hurt your
definitely.
KD, but we're saying that if you're all great and grand and you're this Superman that you claim to be, that you should easily be able to spawn trap and take advantage of 2 or 3 people. A good strong player that has pretty good aim can easily make up for 2 people that does it.
Oh, absolutely. Look at the Call of Duty 4 videos that I've been recently posting, like on those team death matches. Those are mostly bad players I'm playing against, but I'm going up against 3 or 4 or 5 of them at a time, and it's just it wouldn't. If it were domination, I could do the same thing. I could take 3 or 4 people off the flag and cap it myself in that game. It's just if you're a good player, you can. You're not having to rush back and forth to the flags because when you get through the first time, you're taking out 2 or 3 guys, sitting there, killing 2 more as they come back to you, and you're just capping them.
I would argue if you're on a good team, you're not having to take out 2 and 3 players and get the flag.
Exactly.
Woody, let me ask you this.
But that's different than if you're a good player.
I know where you're coming from because you're thinking of Rascal and some of the other guys you play with.
Don't rip on Rascal, man.
Yeah, Rascal's he's a team player, but he doesn't win his gunfights. He doesn't. That's why he has the care package kill streak.
Rascal's the sort of guy that will hop on B in sub base again and again and again until you get it. He's that guy that doesn't care about it. He'll finish 15 and 40 and maybe leave the lobby in points.
Yeah, but see, when the guys finish 15 and 4, I'm looking at it this way. I'm dealing with an AC-130 during that period of stretch.
I hear what you're coming from, and to some extent you're right. There's a balance between getting some air power in and getting the map control and capture.
I'm talking about them getting air power off.
I know. Yeah, I followed that. But on the other hand, someone's got to be willing to hop on B repeatedly in sub base. That doesn't come for free, unless your team's dominant.
Well, that's when it comes down to demolition or whatever. And I am always the one that says, "Hey, I'm the runner. You guys take out the shots because majority of the time they're going to hit their target a lot quicker than I will." And I've accepted that for as far as my gameplay. And I do the same thing when we do play domination. I'll go ahead and try to grab B, but at the same time with B, for example, on sub base, good example. I usually, before I run out there by myself, I try to have another player with me at the same time, and I'll run out there and they'll cover me usually, and then again I'll shoot a nice silhouette around my target.
I don't claim to be a great player, but I'll tell you what I could do. I could start a new account, play a lot of free-for-all, and have a 3-0 KD or better.
Now, Woody, won't you do what I did? When I came on Xbox, I struggled, and I had like a 2.3 KD. I took that KD and knocked it up to about 3 now.
Uh-huh.
And it's not hard. It's not hard to do. It isn't. If you play smart in free-for-all and you play smart in team deathmatch, you can easily do it.
Mercenary team deathmatch especially.
Well, I find team deathmatch easier than mercenary team deathmatch because the better players stick in regular team deathmatch. Generally, people you meet in mercenary team deathmatch are people that feel they would do good if they didn't have a team.
That's not my experience. Me, if I want an ego boost, I go to free-for-all or mercenary. Well, I don't even play free-for-all much, but I go to mercenary team deathmatch. And that thing, it's like a health spa for KD.
Yeah, but I just want to go ahead and put this out here as well. We all know Junkyard isn't the best shot. And let me ask you this, Junkyard. Is the reason you choose to be the flag runner and the bomb planter because you know that you're not going to, pick the guy off, the silhouette off on the edge of the screen with the FAMAS?
Yes, exactly. And I accept that, and I'm okay with that. And majority of the time, we'll usually have, especially on demolition, we'll have, or the capture the flag, we'll have 2 distinct runners and 4 defensive men, or if we're in the position where they can move them up as offense, they do. But and in fact, I don't even use lightweight because I do want to make sure I try to get that kill if I do run into a situation where I have to take somebody out. And that's why I put stopping power on. But at the same time, that's exactly why I always want to be the runner.
And I think a lot of people fall into that same category. They want to run the objective because they struggle with getting the kill, which is understandable. First-person shooter games are not easy. People claim they are easy and they're connection-based, which is true. They are connection-based. But generally, if you have a worse connection, you got to play 2 times better as the person you're facing to get the kill. And a lot of people struggle with this back-to-back. And I think the root of our problem here isn't that, people, want to have fun and play the objective. I think they can't pull the 3 KD game out like they want to, so they fall back on that as like a scapegoat. And I think the route I should take would be like a Woody's Gamer Tag route, maybe set up like a meet and play kind of thing with all the subscribers I have, like get them to play with each other. What do you guys think about that?
Well, that's one thing, especially with obviously the followers that I have, my YouTube followers, we're definitely the average player because that's how I title myself. And I've gone into many groups and many rooms where when I used to go into rooms with a lot of my friends that are still on my friends list, that before YouTube and all that, and we would pretty much dominate. We do really good, and I would always be on the bottom of the list, but at the same time, I was the one communicating, calling out situations, calling out players. And now when I'm in groups with a lot of my YouTube followers, we're having a good time. We're laughing, we're talking and all this, but at the same time, we're not getting that W. And I'm not going to say it doesn't frustrate me, and they know it frustrates me. It's like, dang it, guys, we got to go ahead and try to get this W here. But you do see the caliber of different players, from where I am nowadays with the average game player, from where I was back in the Call of Duty 4 days when I played very strategically, very tactically. It's definitely a different genre nowadays.